Good morning. Happy coffee time. Oh man, the stuff just gets you going in the morning, doesn't it? Yeah. So there's an interesting one the Lord brought across my path this morning, which also, again, started last night as I was lying in bed, finishing off my day, just scrolling through a little bit of TikTok vids and stuff. And it's about, the morning the Lord had me thinking the structure of the household is such an important thing. And people love to say, "Yeah, John, you know so much about that because you've been married so much in your life." No, but I do have eyeballs. I can see a lot. And people outside the box tend to see a heck of a lot more than the people that are stuck in the box. Even though you're stupid enough not to listen to those people because you know everything. So if what I'm saying today doesn't help, cool. But it's still a message that God gave me as a warning to me to get ready and as part of the steps to get myself ready for my wife. And it's something I need to share with you because I keep seeing it. If your marriage is broken, my first question to you will always be, where's God? And I've had people going, John, you can't say that. Of course I can. Because the moment you start becoming selfish, the moment you start making things about you again, is when the problems start happening. The moment you go, my husband is such a crappy person and my wife is such a terrible, she doesn't love me, she doesn't look after me, she doesn't do nice things for me, whatever, whatever. The moment that happens, because you are acting like a chop, because you aren't loving her. Yes, we want to receive these things, but you're not supposed to love her to get it. It's the same way as we bless. We don't bless people. We don't bless people financially. We don't tithe to receive. We tithe because we need to tithe. So you love your wife to love your wife. You love your husband to love your husband. That's what you do. It's called self-sacrifice for a reason. And that's what it is. And in turn, it creates these beautiful things that I've seen so many times in my life, how God has turned marriages around because of the hearts and the minds of people change. The structure of the house is such an important thing, and that's what we're chatting about today. It's so important, it's so simple, yet we have a tendency to overcomplicate these things on other levels. And I don't know, it's because of if we're stupid or if it's just that ego and pride and thing that needs to die in you, because you can't have that with your spouse. You can't have that in your house. You can't have that with God. God doesn't come through, God doesn't care about your ego and your pride and your reputation. He cares about your heart. He cares about your mind. He cares about your spiritual well-being. This is what God cares about you. And the moment you step into covenant with your wife or your husband, you become the family. You become a new family. You don't become an extra or a larger big family, her family, your family, and you one big family. No, you become a new family. Your wife's family and your family become your extended family now. That's an important thing that I've seen with that, because if it's one big family like that, everybody has input in everybody's marriages and lives and stuff, and they don't live with your wife, they don't live with you, or they don't live with your husband. You guys live in your own house. So you get to make your own decisions. It's not their business to sort out your things. That's your business. That's why you need to know the structure. You need to know the structure. And I actually saw it because this pastor that I saw yesterday or last night put it down so well. God is always first. God is top of the household. Joshua 24, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. God is number one. Jesus is the head of the house. God is the head of Jesus. The man is the head of the house after Jesus. Then it's the woman, then it's the children, then it's the grandchildren, then it's the great grandchildren, and then it's the extended family. That's the structure that Doug laid it down. It actually did it so beautifully. But the problem is over here, and I've said this for people in life, is remember, issues arise in marriages. A lot of people are stupid enough to think having kids will save their relationship in the first place. That is the stupidest thing I've ever seen and heard over and over and over and over, and none of it has worked. And that's why I see so many women that's alone raising kids, because the dads are nowhere. I do have some male friends as well, yes, that are raising kids alone, but it's predominantly women for some interesting reason. I don't know what that reason is. I'm not condemning or judging anybody either, but I'm telling you, if that's the decision you've made, you're being foolish. But it doesn't mean that God can't come and help you and fix it. We need to restore some stuff for you to get to that right place. Is you cannot make the marriage about the kids. Yes, they're important, but the husband and the wife still comes first. Then comes the children. And this is important. Because one day when the children grow up and they leave the house, the marriage is going to break. Because all of a sudden you're sitting with a partner with a mouthful of teeth and you don't have anything to say to them because you've made everything not about them. And you've ruined your life for 18 years, 25 years, however long the kids are deciding to be in the house. And you've ruined your lives for that, and now I have nothing. And I've heard this pastor, he said the exact same thing, our marriages fall apart because of this. And something that God showed me a long, long time ago is, remember, one very important thing is that you choose your partner. Yes, God gives it to you, but you choose. You get to choose. You get to spec them out. You get to check them out. You get to chat with them and hang out with them and go out with them and do things with them before you decide, you know what, I can serve God better with this person. I'd like to step into a covenant with this person. I'd like to spend my life with this person. You get to hang out with them before that. Your kids get given to you. They are a blessing of God directly. You don't get to choose how they look, how the personalities are, whatever. You have input, but ultimately you don't. They are a gift. They get given. So you have to take them as they come. Your partner you get to choose beforehand. But once you've made that choice, you better stick to your choice, because you make a promise before people and God in that church. Or if you get married on the beach these days, or other places like a lot of people do, it doesn't matter. It's before God and people. Now, the important thing, the two quick verses that stood out over here for me this morning with this is 1 Corinthians 3 verse 11. Paul writes, "But I want you to know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of a woman is a man, and the head of the Christ is the head of Christ is God." All right. And then Ephesians 5 is also adds to me nicely to this verse 22 through to 25. It says, "Wives, submit to your own husband as to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, as also Christ is the head of the church, and he is the Savior of the body. Therefore, just as the church is subject to Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything." But it says, husband, love your wife. You need to love your wife. Verse 25 says, "Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for her." So you are the protector. You are the leader. Now, a picture God painted for me once beautifully. I'm not here to give you marriage advice, even though it kind of sounds like it, I know. But I'm just here to tell you to make sure that you put God number one in your life. Don't fight with your husband and wife or wife. Don't weaponize things of love in a marriage. That's ridiculous. It's stupid, and you're causing unnecessary damage and problems for yourself. God painted me a picture once where the reason a woman comes off the side over here is because a man gets to, this is where the woman fills a man's space over there next to him. So I can put my arm around her to protect her, to grab her if she maybe stumbles, to hold her up because I'm strong enough to do that, and as I'm moving, to bring her with me at the same speed, at the same pace, so she doesn't fall behind. And the reason she's there is if I should stumble, if I should fall, if I should trip over something, even if I should get tired or weak in a moment and I drop down, she's there to hold me up, to make sure that we keep going so we can keep the pace going. And a friend of mine recently shared with me that, I think it's the Hebrew, she said, that is in pictures, that has this very similar picture of that covenant between a husband and wife. I can't remember which word it was or particular thing it was, but this is the picture there. But then I also saw a quick video, last thing for the morning. I saw a video of a lady that explained something so beautiful and so well, is that the man is the head, right? But the woman is the neck. If you really think about that for a moment, a neck is a very important thing. It makes sure that my head can do anything it needs to do. But look at the movies. You break your neck, you're dead. Guys, remember that. You break your neck, you're dead. It's a vulnerable thing as well. As strong as it is, it's very, very strong, but it's vulnerable. It's got the main veins down here. You cut these bad boys, you're dead. If you suffocate because something is stuck in your throat, what do? They cut over in here to help you breathe. Very, very vital part of you and your ministry. As the head of the household, you as the ministry. But the most important thing that I want to leave you today with, especially the men, is, guys, if you want to be the head of the house, if you want a woman to submit to you, you've got to be worthy of being submissive too. You've got to make sure that God is number one in your life. You've got to be a God-fearing man. You've got to stand up for what's right. And you've got to walk in the godly manner. And you need to respect that woman. A lot of people say that a woman is a mirror as well. The way you treat her, the way you'll get back. She's a flower. If you take care of a flower properly, she'll bloom. But if you don't take care of a flower, it wilts. Remember that. Just run strong. Put God number one in your life. Be that man worthy of having a wife that's going to follow you. And make sure you put God number one seat all the time, every day, every single second of your life.